everyone, IvyLeeGaming here, and today we're playing Honkai Star Rail. For today's video, I'm gonna do a little bit of a guide regarding the Forgotten Hall shop called the Light Cone Manifest. Which one should you be buying? Alright, so maybe you're like me and you're just about to purchase your first one because you're finally starting to push that Forgotten Hall a bit harder. I was a little slow doing this, but now I really need to step up my game. And, well, I have my first decision to make. You might be on your second decision to make, wondering if you made the right choice and you want to go all in, or maybe there's a different light cone that you should be focusing. A lot of these decisions are going to kind of lay with, well, what do you already have? Is there a better free-to-play option? Did you get lucky in your gacha summons? We're going to kind of talk about all of that and go through all of these light cones individually. So first off, let's start with quid pro quo. This is the abundance light cone here. Adorable little Bailu. Super freaking cute light cone, right? I'm going to read these at max level, so that way we can kind of get an idea of what the potential of them are, because you can purchase multiple copies free to play. So this one is, at the start of the wearer's turn, regenerates 16 energy for a randomly chosen ally, excluding the wearer, whose current energy is lower than 50%. So this is very RNG and a little bit quirky, right? It's already random ally except the wearer, and their energy has to be lower than 50%. Little bit quirky. Of course, this could be good if you're really needing to spam your ultimates a lot. You could use your ultimate before Bailu goes, and then she can immediately, hopefully, boost the correct person's ultimate, well, their energy, to allow them to use their ultimate again. But it's a little bit conditional, and it really doesn't hold value until it gets later on with these superimpositions. So level 1 is just 8 energy, level 5 is 16. Honestly, you're probably a bit better off going with Cornucopia, the 3-star light cone, if you haven't already maxed that one out. That one, for one, it's very easy to max out and get all the duplicates to get the best potential, and I think you can really get a bit more out of it for your abundance character than this, unless it was maxed. But would you really choose to max this one first over some of the others? I don't really think so. So this one is a little bit low on the totem pole for me until you get later game where you start more easily getting duplicates of things, getting up more points, and you really start to pick things for niche situations. Next up, we have Fermata. This is our Nihility light cone with the beautiful, beautiful Kafka on the front there. So this one at max level increases the break effect dealt by the wearer by 32% and increases their damage to enemies inflicted with shock or wind shear by 32%. This also applies to damage over time. You can see 16% to start with at level 1. Now this is going to be very strong for your debuffers and your damage over time characters, particularly the shock and wind here. You know, that's just screams Sampo can benefit from this light cone in particular. However, there is a 4-star light cone that if you already pulled it, you're probably going to choose that over this one. If you got lucky in your gacha and you got Resolution shines as pearls of sweat, that one is a must use, particularly for Pela. But if you actually end up using a team comp with Pela and Sampo, you might still use this guy and that other light cone as well. But otherwise, it's really good for everybody, and you definitely want to use that other light cone if you were lucky enough to get it. So this one might go a little lower on the totem pole, depending on your luck with those summons, the gacha summons for light cones. By the way, speaking of gacha summons for light cones, guys, don't pull on the light cone banners. Just don't. Alright, next we have We Are Wildfire. So this is the one for the Path of Preservation. It's an okay free-to-play option. Again, a lot of things are just going to depend on what you have. It's probably more useful than the 5-star one that you'd get from Herta's shop. So if you're trying to make that decision, you'd choose this one over that. You wouldn't buy the one from Herta's shop if you're really looking for a Path of Preservation light cone. Although it's funny. It's from the Forgotten Hall shop, but it's kind of useless for the Forgotten Hall. So let me read it, and we'll see why. At the start of the battle, the damage dealt to all allies decreases by 16% for 5 turns. At the same time, immediately restores all HP to all allies equal to 50% of the respective HP's difference between the character's max HP and the current HP. Yeah, it's a little quirky. It's a little bit conditional. And while it does bring some decent damage mitigation and a little bit of quirky healing there, it's not going to be your best bet. You really want to get, like, what is it, day 1 of my new life, if you got lucky from those gotcha summons as well. It's okay though. If this is all you've got and you weren't lucky with a couple of the others, like the day 1 with March 7th on the cover there, this one can be okay and it can certainly get you by. All right, next up we have River Flows in Spring. The Hunt. This is our Yanqing. So this one, well, it's for him. If you have him, it's pretty good for an option just for him specifically. But overall, this light cone is not that great for other characters, at least that are in the game at this time. So let me go ahead and read this here. All right, after entering the battle, increases the wearer's speed by 12% and damage by 24%. When the wearer takes damage, this effect will disappear. This effect will resume at the end of the wearer's next turn. So it's definitely very dependent on not taking damage right away. It's a little bit quirky there as well, so it's definitely not the best option overall and isn't really going to work great for other characters. If you're talking about free-to-play light cones, the 5-star one from Herta's shop is just going to be much, much stronger and probably one you should be getting. So I would not worry about getting this one from the Forgotten Hall shop unless you particularly need something for Yanqing versus other Hunt characters. I think its sword play is very good, the one with Su Shang, and also, what is it, Subscribe for More, are both 4-star ones you can get from the gotcha summons, and those ones are going to be better options than this as well. Alright, next up we have Past and Future. This is our Harmony Light Cone. This one I think has a little bit of a mixed review, I would say. I've heard some people say they hate it and other people say they love it. It is only a 1-turn damage increase here and kind of requires you to spam your skills. But there's a particular case where it works very well, which I will mention, but let's go ahead and read it first. So when the wearer uses their skill, the next ally taking action, except the wearer, deals 32% increased damage for 1 turn. So this is something where you really have to set up your teams properly, use it at the right time when using their skill. So making sure you use it, it consumes skill points, and you still have enough skill points left to let the next person you want to take advantage of it actually be able to, well, use their skill as well, or maybe an ultimate. If you do have Seela and Bronya, you can control this, right? So Bronya could be using this Past and Future light cone, and then she can choose who to boost. Seela could go next, and then she can use, well, hopefully, she can actually have multiple hits and be able to actually take advantage of this more than a lot of the other characters. Seela has the chance to go multiple times, or hit multiple times, I should say. So this could actually really benefit because it is only for 1 turn, but if they're able to take bonus attacks, extra attacks like Seela can, they can take extra advantage of this light cone. So if you have Bronya and Seela and you don't have like, you're not happy with your light cones, you're not happy with your synergy right now, this could actually be a really fun, creative one to try. And I think for that case in particular, it's pretty good. It's worth a shot. But I think overall, Dance 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 is going to be a better option universally for your Harmony characters, especially Tingyun or Asta. And next up, we have Woof talk time for our destruction characters. Super cute light cone, gotta love it. This one increases the wearer's attack damage by 20% and increases their damage to enemies afflicted with burn or bleed by 32%. This also applies to damage over time. So this one is, at least as of right now, posting this video and based on the characters that are currently in the game, this is really only a hook light cone. You're really not going to use it on others. There's just better option for the other characters. Like the 5-star light cone that you can get from Herta's shop is very good for destruction characters. A little bit more universal for any destruction character. Versus this one that's probably going to be strongest on, again, hook. So if you are using hook in your team pretty consistently, which she's probably was a bit underrated, myself included, definitely underrated her. But now I'm loving her. She actually is pretty freaking fun. She can hit really hard. She does a lot of damage, and you can kind of have some good synergy with her, especially if you use a light cone like this. If you use Sampo in your team as well, you can have a lot of fun with hook. If you were lucky or unlucky, depending on how you want to look at it, and you manage to get hooked to like E6 and you're actually using her pretty heavily, this light cone is definitely a good choice. So even though it might not be the best option universally, if you are using hook specifically, definitely consider picking up this light cone sooner rather than later. All right, last but not least, well, maybe least, we have seriousness for breakfast. Now, unfortunately, the erudition light cones are just not that exciting. They're okay, but they're not the best. It's probably lower on the totem pole for what you choose compared to some of the others. But it depends on what you've got. If you're really lacking on your account for erudition, it's actually not too bad of a choice. It does give pretty solid damage potential here. At max level, it increases the wearer's damage by 24%. That's just straight up. That's pretty darn good. For every defeated enemy, the wearer's attack increases by 8%, stacking up to 3 times. So this could be also situational to add extra damage when you know that you're going to be clearing waves. And I don't know, I think it's okay. It's just a debate of, would you actually pick this over the others? I don't know about the others from the shop, but it might be one of the best ones for erudition, honestly, because there's just not a lot of great options that exist right now. So in future updates, hopefully they give us some better erudition light cones to choose from. But if you don't have one right now and you have kind of other roles fulfilled as far as a decent light cone for every other path, you might actually go ahead and pick this up because the options are limited, they're not that great, and this one at least gives you a solid damage potential. So that's kind of where we're at here for these light cones. So what does all that mean, right? What does all that mean? I don't really think it's appropriate to go through and say, this one's the best, this one's the second best, this one's the third best, blah, 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 because everything relies on your account, what you've pulled, and what you need. It also depends on whether you are a spender or not. There are those wonderful light cones we can get from that battle pass, you know, the nameless order. So if you're getting those, that might have an effect on which one of these you choose. So there's too many factors to just do a straight up tier list or rank them from 1 to 7. It's just not that simple at the moment. So make sure you did actually take the time to listen to the feedback I gave and suggestions along the way for each one. If you skipped around and you found this right now, we'll go back and take a quick listen. It might help you decide. All right, that's all for today's video. Hope it wasn't too long. Hope it was helpful for you guys. I'll try to do more guides in the future like this, where I've taken some time to plan out my thoughts, maybe done some research, and yeah, getting a little bit more analysis based than only entertainment. I do try to have a little bit of fun and show you guys the entertainment side of things too, because we're just here to have a laugh as well and enjoy it. It's a game after all, isn't it? But thank you guys for watching. You could find me live on Twitch at least every Wednesday and Friday, if not more often. But be sure to click this other video if you want to have a laugh at my light cone situation. This was about light cones, and I got some interesting light cones in my last summoning session, so take a look at my last 5-star I actually received, that summoning video, and you guys can have some fun with me. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.